Let's make a fun menu board for our refrigerator. We're going to use a Cricut and some Dollar Tree picture frames. So first thing, I used some vinyl, removable vinyl, and some iron-on vinyl. These two different materials will be used on two different Dollar Tree frames. So if you want the design for this project, the link will be below in the description. I cut the designs with my Cricut, and then we were off to the races. Taking my 3 Dollar Tree frames and then this Crafter Square cork sticker and these chalkboard stickers, all from the Dollar Tree, we're gonna make the cutest menu board you've ever seen. So again, these are the designs I used. You can get them in the description below. You're going to want to warm up your easy press to about 330, but you can also use a regular iron on lowest setting for this project. Now, obviously, you're going to take off the wrapping of the picture frames, and you're going to remove all of the guts on the inside of the frame. This one had an extra mat in it. I went ahead and took that part out as well. But I'm going to reserve this insert. This insert is what I'm going to use for the project. I'm taking a plain piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I'm going to trace out the size of the frame, which just using the glass insert is perfectly fine as well for this. I'm just going to pencil it out on this white piece of paper so I can cut it down to size. Now we're going to put everything back into the photo frame like it was intended. And when I put back the final piece on top, I'm going to actually remove the easel part of it. And I'm going to save that for like a different project because I feel like you could still use it for something. On the front of the frame, we're going to take our first Cricut cut design. It says to do and it has a cute little arrow on it. And I'm going to take my Cricut, what is that called? Burnishing tool. And we're just going to make sure that it's completely adhered to the carrier paper and the release paper. So once that's done, we're going to peel back and reveal our design on the carrier sheet. Then we're going to put this on the front of the photo frame. And this will serve as our dry erase board. And this is where you're going to put your list of everything that you need to do in order to get ready for your either special guests for the menu board or just your special meal that you're having for the menu board. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to repeat the same process with the second photo frame from Dollar Tree. Again, removing the wrapper, and then it will be removing the guts of this picture frame as well, just like we did on the first one. But I'm going to reserve that little insert there with the dog on it. Using the glass again as a template, I am going to draw the design onto this cork sticker. This is found in the Crafter Square section at the Dollar Tree. And I ended up deciding I needed to use the back of the piece of paper, back of the cork sticker. It's a little more efficient. And taking the pencil, I went ahead and just traced the outline of the glass insert again and cut it to fit the photo frame. This is one of those super simple projects, and anyone can make one of these. It's very affordable as well, and it turns out so stinking cute. So I just kind of decided to use this one for the list portion of our menu board. So I'm taking the design that we cut on the Cricut previously, and this one is actually the iron-on design. So you need to mirror it when you are creating it in Cricut Design Space. I'm just gonna eyeball where it's gonna go on the cork, and then I ended up using the frame as a guide after all, because I wanted to make sure that it was within the open section of the frame. So I just kind of put the frame over it and then eyeballed it again and put it down. Now, in order to not burn all my materials, I went ahead and placed a piece of super thin cotton fabric between this design and my Cricut Easy Press. So taking the Cricut Easy Press, I'm just gonna lightly add a little heat for about 30 seconds. Again, it is on the lowest setting. It was on 330, and it's for about, I did it for about 15-20 seconds, not very, very long at all. And that pretty much did the trick. Again, you could use the lowest setting of your iron as well for this iron-on material, but I used the Cricut Easy Press, which makes it really easy, and you can definitely adhere any design onto the corkboard material. And then I just made sure that it was burnished well and that it was gonna come off and look great. And then we peeled it off and revealed the list section of our menu board. Now, my idea was to use this to tack up any type of grocery lists or receipts or things that you still need for your menu board, and that would be a great little insert for the middle. I just made sure that, again, it definitely fit within the frame, and I took that insert again with the cute little puppy, peeled back the cork paper and added it to the front of that insert, just for a little bit of added stability. And then I reassembled everything back into the photo frame, just as we did on the first one. And again, I removed the easel section and reserved that for other projects. On this one, I'm reserving the easel section, and we have the first two done. This third frame, we are going to repeat the same process and remove all of the wrapping, and then we're going to remove all of the guts of the photo frame. Now we're going to take this chalkboard sticker that you can get also at the Crafter Square section of your local Dollar Tree, and we are going to use this to cover that cute little puppy again. The best way I found to cover this was to just cut it at the horizontal. I was thinking maybe you could split it in half and make it fit perfectly, but you can't. So it does take 2 sheets, and lucky enough, each package comes with 2 sheets. So I cut this to fit and peeled off the sticker backing and placed it on top of the photo frame insert. Now this can serve as a perfect little chalkboard, and you could totally use it as a chalkboard, and you could use chalk, or you could use a chalk paint pen, which I think would be super, super cute. Or you could just use it as a black background and get one of those neon dry erase pens for the front of the glass, which is what I decided to do. But you just use these 2 stickers, line them up, and then be careful where you set it. It does automatically stick. Mine kind of stuck prematurely, and then I got that fixed. Don't worry so much about the edges being perfect, because they will hide behind the frame. The frame is a little bit forgiving. This kind of got stuck on me. I went ahead and just smoothed out all the bubbles again with the Cricut burnishing tool, and it worked out perfectly. I trimmed up the edges on this one because again, it went a little over on the edges on some parts and then it was shy on the edges on other parts, but again, the frame is very forgiving and it looks perfectly fine. So then I took the final design that is just on, again, removable sticky vinyl, and I burnished it to make sure it was on there well, and then we peeled back to reveal the design. And this one actually is the one that says menu. And so we put this one on, and this is where you can actually just state that it is going to be, what the menu is going to be. I put all of the guts back into the photo frame and removed that easel piece again and reserved it for another project. These all turned out so stinking cute. I absolutely adore the way they look together, but I didn't want to end it there. I wanted to make sure they were mounted on something. So I took just a piece of foam board from the Dollar Tree and I added this peel and stick wallpaper in the shiplap pattern to the front of the foam board. It really transformed the foam board pretty much immediately into this piece of faux wood shiplap. It was pretty awesome. So I think I'll be using this for another project as well. It took 2 pieces of the wallpaper stickers and it covered the foam board perfectly for the size that I needed. Just make sure that the patterns match up when you put the stickers down. And then using a straight edge knife, I trimmed the foam board to fit. Well, first I trimmed the edge that went over the side with the wallpaper sticker, and then I took the foam board and cut it to fit the wallpaper sticker with the X-Acto knife from the Dollar Tree. Next, I'm going to place back all of the photo frames onto the foam board and kind of line them up how I want them to look. And then we're going to trim the foam board a little bit more. So I took a ruler and measured it and made sure that there was sort of close to the same amount of space between the 3 frames and then on both edges. From there, I took the X-Acto knife again and I cut it down to size. Now all we have left is to adhere these frames to their new faux shiplap backing, and I just used hot glue for that and it worked wonderfully. So I just took each frame and hot glued the trim. Just put a bead down all 4 edges of the frame. It was a little tricky because you had to hold it in your hand and hot glue it, but it all worked out. And then I just placed them onto the board. I spaced these out about maybe 3/4 of an inch each in between, and then definitely a full inch on each side of the board for the edges. And I started with the 2 outside frames so that it would definitely be even. And then I glued the final center frame last. Absolutely love how this turned out. So stinking cute. So what I decided to do was flip it over once it dried a little bit and add some magnets to it so that it would go on my refrigerator. These magnets you can find at the Dollar Tree, and I just used some hot glue and I added a magnet to each of the 4 corners as well as one to the very center. Last but not least, I hung this on my refrigerator. I think it turned out so darling. I love how it says menu, list, and to do. I added these cute little buffalo check ribbon bows to each of the corners just to kind of give it an extra pop. And again, I just love how this turned out. If you like this kind of DIY, consider subscribing to Southern Crush at Home.